with that out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about these records. So, before I start, these records are going to be different for every player, obviously, because there are going to be players that are closer to breaking some records than other players are closer to breaking those records. And sometimes it's not even like records being broken, it's more so milestones that they're going to achieve. So, some people might call them records, some people might call them milestones. It's more or less the same thing, and it falls under that same category. So after I list off the first player and the milestone that they're going to surpass, then you'll sort of understand how this segment is going to work. So for starters, we're going to start with Chris Paul, CP3. And I totally understand that this is an outdated jersey, but still, it's Chris Paul. And we all know who Chris Paul is. He's a point god, as people like to call him. One of the best point guards that the NBA has ever seen. And he needs 197 assists to pass Jason Kidd for second in all-time assists. Now, this is obviously an incredible milestone to have, and one that is obviously, it's happening because of Chris Paul's longevity. Similar to LeBron James, Chris Paul's longevity is incredible. He's been solid for so many years, and he's really been that reliable option for a team. Every single time a team ends up acquiring Chris Paul, the team ends up playing vastly better with him at the point guard position. He is the definition of making your teammates better. The clear-cut definition of a point guard that makes your team better, which is why I don't understand why people say that Halliburton is the first true point guard of this generation when Chris Paul is still playing in this league. I think that's rather disrespectful because Chris Paul has been able to do more or less like what Halliburton has done for longer periods of time. And I completely understand that Chris Paul is nowhere near in his prime, but his effects on a team and the impact that he has on a team, the minute he steps foot into the locker room, is apparent. Every single time he joins a team, they've had a winning record, and they've had a better record than they've had previously. This is just known for Chris Paul. This is just the aura that he brings, if you wanna use more modern terms. This is just what he does. He's been doing it since day one, since he was drafted by the Hornets, New Orleans Hornets, by the way, and then when he got traded over to the Clippers, and then when he got traded again all the way over to Houston, and then traded again to OKC. Every single time he's made his team better. And part of that, and a big reason of that, is because of how he can set up his teammates with the passing. I should say, and I should point out, that he makes his team better in the regular season, because in the postseason, and this is going to haunt his career throughout the entirety of his life, he is a playoff choker. Now, the numbers don't show it. I will say that the numbers don't show it, but it's just, he's one of those players where it's like, you look at him and you do the eye test, and you could see, right, this guy just doesn't step it up in the postseason. It's really just, it's a thing that he has. I don't know how to explain it, but it's very, very common for him to lose in a series when a lot of people feel like he inevitably should have won in the end. He did it twice when he was on the Clippers, blowing a 3-1 lead. He did it when he was, unfortunately, it's just bad luck. It's a lot of bad luck that comes with it as well. In Houston, he ended up getting injured in the most important point for his team before Game 6 and Game 7, which ultimately decided the series for the Golden State Warriors. Not to mention, afterwards, in the year prior, in the year after, when the Houston Rockets and the Golden State Warriors ended up matching up again in the postseason, he was nowhere to be found in the postseason. And then he gets traded over to OKC, where he does lead the team to 7 games, and unfortunately ends up losing to James Harden. And then when he went to Phoenix, where he actually looked like he had the best chance of winning a ring, going up 2-0 in the series, he ends up blowing all of those games afterwards in the final series against Milwaukee, losing in 6. It's just a thing. It's a common trend that Chris Paul has, and it's unfortunate that that's how a lot of people are going to remember him. But regardless, being second in all-time assists. I definitely feel like it's going to boost him in the all-time point guard rankings, in my opinion. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Do you guys think it's not really going to be any sort of huge addition? Like, do you guys think that if he really wants to move up in the top point guards that he has to win a championship? In fact, my opinion is, who do you guys think is better? Do you think Chris Paul is better, or do you think Russell Westbrook is better? For their entire career, not off of this season, not off of last season, their entire career, which player do you think is better? I'm curious to see what you guys have to say about that. Now, next player, before we run out of time in this segment, I did take up a lot of time with this. I tend to take up a lot. I'm going to probably take up a lot of time with a lot of these players. James Harden. Now, James Harden is 34 three-pointers away from passing Ray Allen and being second in all-time three-pointers made. Now, this sort of milestone is similar to LeBron's milestone when he passed Kareem, in the sense that we didn't expect anybody to break this record. Like, if there was anybody that was going to break Ray Allen's record, everyone immediately assumed it would be Steph Curry, and you would be right to think so. However, another player reaching that mark and actually exceeding that mark, and one of those players being James Harden, is incredibly shocking. Like, James Harden is being, like, with the total three-pointers that he's made, there's argument brewing that he is one of the top 5 or top 10 best shooters in the history of the NBA. And let me know in the comments what you guys think of that, because from where I'm standing, I would never, ever consider James Harden a better three-point shooter than Ray Allen. From where I'm standing, even though James Harden is easily going to break this record and probably exceed it assuming however long his career ends up lasting, this was something that was completely unexpected to me. And I still wouldn't put James Harden as a better shooter than Ray Allen. I'm sure a lot of people share that same opinion, but it's so amazing, like, how this game has evolved from when Ray Allen played and when Kobe played and the early 2000s to what it is now. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like, players are getting better. Players are taking much more efficient shots. Players are understanding the values in the shots that they take. Like, the game overall is just developing, and it's developing right in front of our eyes. Like, it's developing right in front of us right now. And this is just something that, again, I never would have thought would have happened. A lot of people didn't really think that LeBron was going, or anybody was going to come close to Kareem's scoring record, yet here we are. Similar to that, a lot of people didn't think that no one was going to come close to Ray Allen and his scoring record. But given how the league has evolved, mainly thanks to Steph Curry, a lot more players are going to take more threes, and as a result, they're going to start making a lot more threes. So there might be a time in the history of basketball where Ray Allen is going to be left completely in the dust after most of these players and after their careers are over. Like, this is sort of the era, and this is how this league is moving, and this is how it's advancing in today's game. And it's very, very impressive to watch. So, again, let me know in the comments what you guys think. Do you guys think James Harden is a top 10 three-point shooter ever? Do you guys think he's like top 5 even? Or do you think that this milestone is just, it's another thing that's reproduced based off of longevity? Because James Harden has had a very long career, and he's made a lot of three-pointers in his career. So that's all that I really have for this second segment. We're going to continue on with this list right after this short break. So be sure to stay tuned if you guys are interested in hearing some more opinions and some more records that are going to be broken in this season. So I'll be right back after this short break.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.